Welcome back to Becoming Unstoppable, the podcast, a space to empower women to move mountains, make waves, smash ceilings, embody legacies, build empires, and most importantly, never have to apologize for being too much. If you like this episode, please make sure to follow, rate, and review so we can keep this magic coming at you. And as always, beautiful humans, thanks for listening. In a world obsessed with speed, Karen Bartholomew invites us to slow down. As the founder of the Pause Method, Karen shares how intentional stillness can be a powerful catalyst for clarity, confidence, and true alignment. We explore how to dismantle false narratives, navigate fear without bypassing it, and use strategic pausing as a tool for embodied leadership and radiant womanhood. We also get into some juicy bits about the real-life struggles of being a high-functioning woman and entering the dating world. If you like this episode, make sure to like, review, rate, and subscribe. Happy listening. Hi, Karen.
Hi, Alison.
So we worked through some technical difficulties, but here we are. So before we start, I would love it if you just shared with the class a little bit about yourself. Tell us who you are, where you come from.
Well, I'm Karen Bartholomew. I'm located in North Carolina. I travel back and forth from California to North Carolina every other month because that's my kids and my grandkids are in California and I'm here. So, which is where my studio is. So a little bit about me. I am one of 5 children and I have 2 brothers, like 15 months ahead of me and 18 months behind me, which, and then sisters that are 6 and 12 years younger. And so my journey, my childhood was like, the generation that I come from, sometimes the mom favors the boys. And so I kind of got lost in that shuffle as a small child. And ended up feeling really alone and not just alone, basically, not feeling that I was really seen or heard that I matter, which, children really want that in their lives. As we do as adults too. Right. So, so that's kind of what my childhood was like. And I took those things out into the adult world. Right. And so, because that was my story, I attracted that. And so I had crazy relationships, none of them actually worked out. I've been divorced a couple of times, but I have 3 amazing adult children.
Yes.
And so it's been a wild journey, wild journey. But I just kind of took myself on and I really wanted to figure it out after I was sick of myself in about 2010. And I'm like, I'm tired of this. I want to know why I keep living this life like this.
Wow.
And so I just took myself on like fully for like 4 months. And I'm like, I'm going to dive right in and explore me.
Oh my God, my wheels were just like moving because I was like, ooh, I took myself on. That's a good mantra. I don't that's new for me. I haven't like heard someone kind of phrase it in that way. And I want to definitely unpack this and like we're gonna wind a little bit because I think there's a lot of relatable stuff here. So we got a very like buzzed quick Cliff's Notes view of childhood, but I think the point of like a child needing to be seen, to be heard, to be validated, right? Like yes, for sure, that's for children. I have an 8-month-old. She needs all of those things, even this tiny little package of a human. But it certainly shows up in adult relationships. So if we could pause a little bit and like slow down, would you mind kind of fleshing that out? What does that mean when you were like, wow, I was tired of getting in my own way and I was kind of seeing this pattern show up? What did that look like?
So what happened? Yes, that's a lot to unpack. It's
yes.
I think it was, my divorce really like took me down that road of why am I picking men that keep, cheating on me? I mean, that's pretty much what happened. And so, and I didn't understand. Was I picking them? Were they picking me? What was going on? What was it about me that, this was happening? Right. Because I'm a really loyal, trustworthy person, probably. And I'm sure there was something about me that I attracted those people. Right. So I could be right about something. Wasn't sure what it was, but I just like, finding myself with 3 small children, the ages of newborn, basically 5 and 9. With no help because I lived away from my whole family. I just was like, I need to do something different. I need to recreate myself, reinvent myself. I don't know how. Somebody introduced me to a 3-day awareness class.
Ooh.
And I literally just said, okay. I literally didn't even know how I was going to pay for it or whatever, but I just said, okay.
Yeah.
And so that was when I really got to see different sides of me. I got to see when you have clear intention, like what you're willing to do and what you're not. And did I really have clear intention about my life?
Ooh.
And I found out that I didn't. I needed somebody to push me, right? And go, well, why are you stopping? If it's over there, that what you want, why are you sitting here? Like,
Mm-hmm.
how bad do you really want it? Right.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point, I didn't even know what I wanted or what I didn't want because I had been doing this life, what everybody else wanted me to do, and being alone and not having a community of people that would ask me if I was okay.
Yeah.
Because so we just put the strong front on, where I did. I put the strong front on,
Yeah.
as a single mom. And so I just got to unpack all the different layers of me that weekend and found out, like, there was a game that we played and I knew the answer, but I was in the back of the room not contributing. And I'm like, well, why do I not have a voice?
Mm.
Right? Even though I know the answer. Well, then I got to go back and I go, well, I didn't really have a voice when I was younger
Yep.
and I was alone and nobody ever said anything. And so when people started challenging me, I was like, well, maybe that's people that really care about me, right?
Yeah.
It just looked different than what I was used to.
Mm-hmm.
So, so that's just like a little snippet. Then I took that on physically and mentally. And then I took
Mm-hmm.
that into leadership. And then I became a coach and the coach of coaches. And it just became this 10-year transition. And I loved coaching.
Yeah.
So that's how I ended up, like, really like taking myself on for those 4 months.
Yeah.
And, I had resistance from people that didn't believe in the work, family
Yeah.
members that were like, I don't believe in therapy. I don't believe in blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I, 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 I couldn't adopt that thinking anymore. I'm just like, I need to do this for me. So I think it was the first thing I stood up for myself, even against
Oh,
family members,
yeah.
right? To say, I have to figure me out.
Yes. Ooh, I love that. I think this is so absolutely like incredibly relatable. I hear this in clients and friends for sure. And I think there's a few things here that I kind of want to pluck out. So one, that idea of, wow, there's this an awareness course and I'm going to go immerse myself in it. First of all, that's incredibly courageous. I know I'm biased as hell, but I do therapy for a living, so I have to believe in this. But I truly believe that we can't forward move until we have awareness. Like that has to be the first step because if we don't know what we're doing, how are we going to change it? So, we can't stop there, but it is really a bold move to kind of step into the vulnerability of just saying like, well, what am I doing? How am I in my own way? Like, where did this come from? So, kudos to that. And then, it's funny, we all write copy for our websites, right? Like I'm in the community of coaches and therapists, and we're always like talking about the copy on our website. For those that you don't know, it's just the words on your website. And I was trying to think just today, of like giving some real life examples of where confidence either shows up or doesn't show up. And the example I used was actually like, the answer, right? But you are now at like so much little bits have just been taken away from you along the way
Mm,
that you second guess that answer and you've lost
mm-hmm,
your voice. So
mm-hmm.
like, there was a time in every one of our lives, particularly when we're children, that we don't have that second guessing, right? That like kids are like,
Mm-hmm.
yes, I know it, pick me, pick me.
Right.
And over time, we acquire some wounds and we start to build that second guessing and that like self-abandonment. So the fact that you even could notice that there, like, wow, I know the answer, but I'm like, I'm in the back of the room, right? I think
Yeah.
that's a really powerful first step. So how did you take it from that? Like you're in this awareness immersion, right? And then from that juncture point, right, the end of this story is you're like this powerful leader for women. Like, what was the next thing? So, okay, you gained the awareness. What'd you do next? Like, if someone's listening, they're like, yeah,
Yeah,
I
so
know where to go.
I ended up coaching. So I was really able to watch people, how they functioned and how they took action or when they didn't take action. Um, you know, Coaching people that just get submerged in a 90-day program where all their stuff comes up. I mean, like,
Hmm.
literally, like they say they want all these big things the first weekend, right? And then what happens is when it really comes to like making the stuff happen, there's all this constraints that come up, right? So we really have to go back and tackle those things. And so one of the things is I always, during awareness, I'm going to say one thing. You have to be really not judgmental of ourselves and be very gentle to ourselves,
Oh,
right?
yes.
When you're becoming aware of things, right? It's like, it's not there to beat yourself up again, right? It's just to explore it, see where it might have happened originally and
Hmm.
why we have so much constraint and fear now that we're not
Hmm.
willing to move forward, right?
Yeah.
So, I think that my survival mechanism was just, be alone, do it yourself, do it all yourself because you have no help, right? Figure it out, you know, if I second guessed myself, I would just sit back and not do anything. But as your point, when we're younger and we're small children, we're these precious beings. And somewhere along the way, between all the accumulation of hurt from all over the place, right? All the people in our lives before we decide that we need to go out in the world and try to be adults with actually
Mhm.
everybody else's conditioning, right?
Yep.
I mean, you just don't know who you are.
Hmm.
So when I get triggered with something, I started going, okay, I'm triggered. Why am I upset? I need to pause for a second, take a little exploration without any judgment and go, oh, I remember. I remember why that happened. I
Hmm.
remember when my mom told us she was pregnant and I was 12 and I ran to the bathroom and locked myself in the bathroom crying, thinking, there's not enough love already. You're bringing another kid in the, now what? Now who's going to love me?
Yeah.
Right. So, just all that stuff. So I'm like, okay, I remember that now. And like, is that true? No, that's not true. That was a story I told myself because it's something that happened when I was younger at 12. But that's not true today.
Hmm.
Because if I really look at today, the truth is I am very much loved, right? I'm not in a relationship right now. However, I've raised three beautiful children that love me dearly, and my family and my mom and my dad and all the people, and the people that I coached from a loving, not in that kind of a intimate, but
Hmm.
all kinds of different kinds of love. So if we just come from love, right? And we're compassionate,
Yeah.
right? And we look at people that we don't know their journey. We don't know why they're reacting or they're behaving the way they are, but just come from a loving, kind standpoint. It changes your entire way that you look at life. There's a Shakespeare quote that says, nothing is neither good nor bad, only thinking makes it so.
Ooh, never heard that. I love Shakespeare. That's beautiful.
Yeah. Because what we think is actually how we feel and how we act and behave. And this is what we get our results from. So I had to like unwind, reverse engineer that, right? And
Yeah.
go, okay, what is my thinking? So
Yeah.
I literally did that starting in 2010 and I just kept it going.
Yeah.
And so through doing the coaching, I just got more and more engaged and saturated into it. And then I started doing sales coaching,
Hmm.
right? Because I've been in the mortgage industry for 20 years. And so I was doing sales coaching for a couple of different companies. And what I realized is that sales coaching doesn't have personal development, and personal development really doesn't have sales. So I'm like, okay, if I can merge the two together and
Hmm.
really help people move forward from point A to point B in little baby steps where you're just not
Yeah.
going, do this. And they're like, I don't know how. And then people
Yeah.
don't, it's a whole different style of coaching. Then I can really help people and make an impact. And if it's just one person a day,
Yeah.
just even if I'm doing a simple kind thing by opening a door for somebody or carrying a
Absolutely.
bag of groceries, I'm grateful for the opportunity. And then I get to actually have an impact on somebody every day. So that's kind of my mantra now since I've gone through this work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. You're gonna hear my baby screaming in the background. Speaking of
Precious
children,
baby.
precious babies, like the world, she's a confident little diva, that one, because she's only 8 months and she's already full of like spirit and curiosity. But I digress.
Love it. Love it.
So I think that there is again quite a lot of relatability here. Your story is actually, somewhat similar to mine. Listeners have heard it before, so I won't bother to repeat it here. But the through line is, I do see a few things, right? So one is that idea again of like, a child who may not have necessarily gotten all of its needs, even the parents that theoretically are, like really trying would have good intentions. Most parents are going to lose somewhere along the way and like not meet all of our needs, right? And that's just like typical parenting. And then we also have, families where like parents really, for whatever reason, they weren't taught the skills, they weren't available, they were busy doing other things, whatever,
Yep.
whatever, whatever. They really couldn't show up. And what I've seen in my own clients like that is it's not uncommon for that type of a kid, right? Who has parents that, for whatever reason, are not able to give them all of their emotional needs, are not able to support them in the way that they need. They do become these very like high functioning, hyper independent women. And I know way back in season one, we covered this a little bit, but I always think it deserves a second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth conversation because what I've seen is a lot of the times when kids are independent already and they're getting used to doing things alone, there's actually a lot of reward for that. So I'm curious what your personal relationship, if this tracks for you, and if it doesn't, that's okay. But I know for me, when I was doing things on my own as a kid, I got a lot of praise for it. It was like, don't worry about Allison, she's got it, right? Where like my
Mm,
sibling, for instance, needed a lot more support. So it was offered to him. And I kind of started to grow up in my own head of like, well, I don't need other people. I can do this on my own. And everybody's very proud that I can do this on my own. And that definitely traveled through with me in relationships, in career choices, and really all the choices. And it wasn't so simple as just like, I don't want to ask for help. And that certainly was a thing. But it was like really, really pervasive inside. It was like a
mm,
defining characteristic of my actual identity, not just what I was doing. Right. So it wouldn't occur to me that to ask for help. It would always make sense to me that I was the first one offering to drop kids or my stepkids off at school or show up late to work or, offer help to move. It was like I was so other oriented. I was so defined by like how I was helping other people and yet would never be on the receiving end of that because it didn't align with my identity at the time, right? I was like, no, I'm independent. And I
right.
I wore that very proudly. And it wasn't until actually probably mine was about 2010 as well, but it suddenly started to feel really isolating. And felt really exhausted. And I was really, I like the word you use, like opportunity. I realized I wasn't giving opportunity to many people in my life.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
the connection couldn't go as deep because I wasn't allowing it to go as
Right.
deep.
Right.
And I had this big breakthrough moment and I shuffled my whole life around and really reinvented myself as well. And I'm happy to say today I'm in a career that I really love. I love helping other people. I'm in a relationship I really love. So it all changed when I sort of had to surrender the idea that it's not quite the flex to just be alone all the time. So, if you wouldn't mind sharing, like I'm curious what that looked like for you.
Well, I think the message was it's all up to us, right? It's all up to you. As a small child, that's what I was, you know, that story I had was all up to me. And so when we take that out into the real world, then we don't allow other people to contribute to us. And we do have a hard time asking for help because
Mm-hmm.
the message is it's all up to us. So we just better do it because nobody's around. Nobody's asking how I am. Nobody's asking if I'm okay. Nobody's asking if I need any help. I know my family didn't. They all live too far away. And and I was just used to that, right? So I had to learn how to ask for help. I had to get to the point where I had to get out of my own way and go, it's not weakness to ask for help. It's actually allowing other people to contribute and love on
Mm,
you.
I love
And
it.
so when I allowed other people, when I took that and go, okay, that's their loving me, their love language is to help me. When I allowed other people to help me, it changed everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have a hard time asking for help. Now, I still am isolated here every other month in my little studio by myself, and I can reach out, but I get a lot of work done while I'm here. And then I go into California and I'm with everybody and doing my thing. But I think that's what it is. It's that message that it was all up to us. And so you have to ask yourself, is that actually true today?
Mm-hmm.
You have evidence in the past that it was true, but what happens if we bring it into the future and it's a constraint, like a prison, like a handcuff to us, right? And so we live
Mm-hmm.
in that because we want to be right, because our ego says, nope, that's you. This is your comfortable space. So just stay isolated. Don't ask for help. You
Mm-hmm.
know, that's our comfort, right? And I had to really break out of that. But I surrounded myself by people as uncomfortable as it was. It was so uncomfortable to be in this room with 70 people for 3 days and being sitting across from somebody and someone asking me, how do I feel love? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know who I am. Right.
Yeah.
So, you know, but really giving me the space to sit there as long as I needed to and cry and not say a word and finally go and someone put their hands on my knees and go, it's okay.
Yeah.
Just think about it for a minute.
Yeah.
And then I was really able to say how I feel love, which was not the love from the past, but what I
Mm-hmm.
really wanted today. And so I have to always ask myself when something triggers me and some message might pop up in my head, I'm like, is that true, Karen? Is that true? Is that if you're standing by yourself, is it true that you're not loved? Is it true that you're not seen and heard and that you don't matter? And I'm like,
Yeah.
no, it's not true. I
Yeah.
can go back and grab it.
Yep.
and be comfortable.
Yeah.
But then also that also creates fear for the future, right? And so that fear is based on the past conditioning, which is not a
Yeah.
truth anymore in my world. So
Yeah.
if it's not a truth, because I can remember what it feels like. If I stop long enough, I can go back and go, what did that feel like? And you made a couple comments. It's like exhausting. It's tired. I'm like, I'm depleted all the time. I'm like, this is crazy, which is what happened to me in 2010. And I'm like, I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
I was exhausted. I was mentally and physically exhausted. And so I had to look at it and go, that's not true. That is not a truth anymore. And I don't want to live there. And so when I really was able, okay, so how does that feel in my body to live in peace, that I am loved and I am seen and heard and I do matter and I am making an impact in this world? If I really feel that and live from that space, then that's complete freedom. I
Yeah.
don't need to worry about anything.
Yeah.
Right. And if I'm not bringing these fears forward, because we really don't know what's going to happen as when we get off this podcast. I don't know what's going to happen after I get out of this chair and you get out of your
Same.
chair. I don't know.
Yep.
Maybe it's going to cry, whatever.
Yep.
Poop your diaper. I don't know. But like, we really don't know. So if we don't know, then really, what is there to fear?
Oh, that's great. I love it.
Right.
Um,
So to live just from a free space and let people be who they are and, let them contribute to you. I just had to learn that.
and I can hear like a listener or a client like pushing that out there, like, well, if we don't know, what is there to fear? And they're like, okay, well, here's what to fear, blah, 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 blah. But I think the point that you made is a really excellent one. So I'm gonna echo it. You know, I'm a CBT therapist by like primary definition, and that's exactly all of what you're describing, right? It's like our thoughts dictate our emotions, which dictate our behavior. So if we're constantly anchoring in to our past, which is we cannot change it, right? It does color our future, right? So like
Yeah, it does.
the unknown is actually really liberating, right? Like if I can convince someone to be like, no, but isn't that the beauty of it? Like you don't know what's possible. It doesn't have to be like, but I don't know what's coming, right? It's like just even shift like when I'll ask clients like say these things out loud when we're like, but I don't know what's coming. It's like watch what happens to your body. And you've been using the word constriction, and I think it's a really good word, right? It's like we do constrict, right? We get smaller, our blood pressure starts to go up. We like physically start to kind of crawl back inside.
Yeah.
And if you're like, what is imaginable for the future, right? It's like maybe we get a smile on our face, maybe those shoulders go back. And it really is, I think, I get a tiny bit woo-woo here, and I promise I'm like based in science and brain science. But it's like, when we're talking about whether it's symbolically like vibrations and things like that, it's like I really truly do believe what we put out into the world
Oh,
and
absolutely.
what we invite is what we're going to
Yes.
get. So if we're closing ourselves off and being like, well, I don't deserve love and I'm never going to be seen and no one's going to love me, it's like we really don't invite that in. And when we shift, right? And we're like, no, you know what? Maybe it hasn't looked like this for me in the past. This is new for me. It's terrifying for me, but I'm open to it. Right? It
Yeah.
shifts even just our relationship to how we feel. So, with all of that said, since you've given me the okay to ask this question, I'm gonna go there.
Okay. So can I say one
Yeah,
thing on
please,
what you
please,
just
please.
said?
Yes, of
So,
course.
so here's the thing. If we say it's too good to be true,
Mm-hmm.
then we're reinforcing that things won't work out for us.
Oh, yes.
Total self-sabotage,
Yep.
right? You're saying it. That's what you're attracting. It's not going to work out. So it's not going to
Mm-hmm.
work out. You're going to make it not work out. I literally had a woman, really good, not wonderful woman, and I love her dearly. She lives down in Southern California. She called me one day and she was struggling, and she had just started dating this man, and she had, she just was like, she was saying this to me, literally, it's too good to be true. And I'm like, wait, 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 wait. I'm like, why are you saying that? Because of something that happened in her past, and it just reminded her of it. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, that's back there. That's that person, right? So, and then it's like, but what about right now? Like with the version of yourself, the love that's coming out of you, you love this man so much, right? Like that's different. Like, why would you give that up?
Yeah.
Stick with
Absolutely.
it. And she's still
Absolutely.
with him and very, very happy. And I'm
See?
so happy for her, right? But like that goes to your point, what you think about, what you say, what, all these things, this is what we're attracting. And so it's like, I always say, this mouth of ours, right? This heart, this mouth, this, all this, there's a little personal genie we all have. And I call it our
Mm-hmm.
personal genie.
I love it.
Be very careful to her. Be very careful to your personal genie, because she will give you everything you think and feel and say.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I love a good visual. So I'm imagining like Aladdin in this
Yeah.
moment. But it's
Right.
true,
Yeah.
right? It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, if we're rubbing the like, what is this thing? Lamp. That's the word I'm looking for. If we're rubbing
Yeah. We're rubbing genie
like,
lamp. I have one right here in my office, actually. I always, yeah,
what?
I always have it. Where is it? It's here.
Oh
Where
my
is
God,
it?
do I need this prompt now? Like, I'm like,
You do. Where is it? I think it's in my drawer. Let me just grab it. I know we're
yes.
video, but we could just audio this.
No, I'm here
Oh
for this.
yes, here it
I'm
is.
here for this juicy bit.
I used to have a genie lamp, and I did a retreat last year in San Francisco, and my videographer hid it and it cracked in a million pieces. I haven't got another one, so here it is.
Oh my God, it's beautiful too. Look at that gorge.
And so it's here. And so when I coach and someone, I have to remind them, I'm like, and they're like,
Yeah.
oh, I can't believe I did that.
Yes, but that's I love it. I think visuals are really powerful, right? So it's like if we're envisioning ourselves and being like, but this is too good to be true. It's like we have manifested that it will absolutely
Yes,
become because
yes,
we're
yes,
closing the
yes. So
door,
let's manifest something we really want, right?
right? Mine is always just, but what if it works out? Right? It's like it doesn't even
Yes.
have to be this like big, huge, everything works out and it's perfect and beautiful. It's just like, but what if it works out? And for me, just kind of like anchoring into possibility, right? Like I don't know what it's gonna look like, but I'm gonna send the energy that it's gonna work out
Right.
one way or another, right?
Right. Well, and
Uh,
one of the quotes I use is in uncertainty, there are possibilities,
mm-hmm.
tons
Yes.
of them, right? Tons and tons and tons. And also the other thing is if something doesn't work out, then, because something didn't just work out with my youngest daughter, and it's been an ordeal for like 6 years, and finally she's not with this gentleman. I wouldn't call him a gentleman, but whatever. It's a gift. I had to like say it's a gift.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank him.
Yeah.
As hard as it was, and as
Yeah.
all of the accumulation of hurt that you felt over the last few years, it's a gift because
Mm-hmm.
now you're out, and now you can
Yes.
really explore, and you can like get deep within yourself and figure it
Yes.
out and not attract the same person next time.
Absolutely. I mean, and I think especially when people are going through something like a breakup, it is very difficult to see the power of that gift in like
Oh
the
my gosh,
moment.
yes.
But that's why we talk to other people, right? That's why we have support because we need those little
Yes.
reminders. It's like, how many of us can like raise our hand and say like, wow, thank God that thing actually was a gift. On a personal note, I called off my wedding a few weeks to go. Um, I was engaged with a person for a long time and I just knew it wasn't right. And I called it off. I called off the wedding. And at the time it was very heartbreaking, heart shattering for a lot of people. I hurt a lot of people. And we didn't talk for a long time. And I went on to another relationship. He went on to another relationship. And I actually ran into him recently, at a mutual friend's party. And like he came up and like bought me a fake drink. I don't even drink anymore, but he bought me a drink, quote unquote, and was like, thank God for that bullet dodged. And I looked around, right? And it's like, he's married and has two beautiful children. I'm married. I have beautiful children. All of our
Yes.
children were here. Right. And
Yes.
I was like, wow, like that decision that I made 17 years ago, right, it changed the course of what are we talking? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven people. Right. I didn't know that at the time though, right?
Right.
Like
Right.
there in uncertainty, there is possibility. And I didn't know what it was going to look like. I didn't know if everybody would hate me. I didn't know what he would go on to do. And it's like it all actually did work out. Just in the moment, we don't always have those answers. We just have to trust that it
So
will
can I
work
ask
out.
you a question? Did you
Yeah.
have a community of women, a safe space to talk to women? Because most women, like for me,
Mm,
being alone,
yeah.
I did not,
Yeah.
right? And so, and I found a community eventually, but like I'm wondering if did because most women don't, right? So that community of women, that
Yeah.
safe space, right? Because men don't really know what that looks like. Typically, they
Yeah.
don't know what that looks like. And so,
That's a great question. I think I did. I've been fortunate in my life. I have been surrounding myself with ladies for a while. However, back to the opportunity part, I don't think I was giving them an opportunity to like hold me,
mm,
see me there.
okay.
So like I think that they would have been available had I pursued it. But I was very shameful, right? A lot of the times we'll make mistakes, especially when I felt like, well, I've been in here for so long. I'm gonna hurt all these people. People are gonna judge me. What am I gonna do? Where am I gonna I think all of that brain noise sort of
Yeah,
prohibited
there's a
me
lot.
from,
That's a lot.
right? Like
It's a
I
lot.
didn't really seek them, right? And I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'll never know if they would have been available. I'd like to think yes, but I didn't give them the opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
Conversely, I'm now married, but my husband and I broke up twice before that happened, and I really did lean into my lady friends and my
Good.
support, and I was fine. You know, it was a really rough breakup. I was surprised. I had to move out. I had to quit my job, but and later we reconciled. But in
Right.
that time, like, yeah, I did need my village. And it was definitely a lot easier going it with people holding your hand than solo,
Right.
you know?
I think if you just listen to people and just listen to what they're saying, it gives them value,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Because there's really nothing to fix. We're not walking in
Yeah.
their shoes.
Right.
People just need a safe space to be vulnerable and be
Oh,
heard, you
yep.
know, and
Yes.
authentic, so where they can be authentic, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Without
Not have to
judgment.
mute themselves, not have to edit what they're thinking
Yes,
or saying.
yes, yes,
Oh
yes.
my God, women are the worst in so much as like we are just like you said, we have to be gentle and compassionate with ourselves, and like we never are, right? Women can be so ugly to themselves and just so
Yeah.
judgmental, and that inner critic is so big and real. Um, and something else you mentioned earlier, which I thought was really profound, is, we do gather the voices of other people, right?
Yes,
So, a lot of when we're like, I'm not worthy, I shouldn't be seen, it actually isn't true. And we've just inherited that from someone who couldn't, it says something about them. It doesn't say something about us, but sometimes we
right.
miss that memo a little bit.
Yeah, we do. Now, I want you to be able to go back to what you were going to
Okay,
ask me.
here we go. Here we go.
Side note.
Because I think this is really, really important. And I know that at least on here, we have never touched this. So you are now this like successful leader. You have these beautiful children, right? You're coaching other women on how to reimagine their own life. And you are newly dating for the first time in a
Yes,
while.
yes.
So, I think no, I'm not even gonna color anything. How has that been for you as this like high achieving used to
Oh,
be?
it's been tough.
Yeah.
It's been 26-year journey.
Hmm.
I've dated maybe 5 people in that time frame. I've actually not dated now for almost 7 years. I
Okay.
did, I did date a little bit here in North Carolina. It didn't work out. I mean, one date here, maybe 2 dates there, but nothing came about of it. So what I find, but before being in North Carolina and California, what I find is because high achieving women, we make pretty good salaries, right? Um, I don't know if we attract men that see strong, independent women and they want that. But at the end of the day, if we make more money than them, it's a problem. It's not a problem
Hmm.
for us. I mean, I definitely want someone to be able to take me out and go on vacation. I want to be paying for everything. However, it seems to be a problem. It's like, it's almost like there's nothing to contribute to us. And so I'm having to relook at all of that and go, okay, what is it that I am doing or acting or behaving that actually is putting that out there, right? Yeah. And then the love languages stuff came out, right? And so we all
Hmm.
know what ours is because we
Hmm.
like do that all the time, but that doesn't mean the other person like, receives it that way. And so it all is all about communication. I mean, really, it
Hmm.
really is. I mean, to allow people to be who they are and just love them no matter what. If I'm having a crappy day, just love me because I'm having a crappy day.
Yeah.
You don't even need to do anything, right?
Yeah.
Just let me be my authentic true self.
Yeah.
And, if we're going to go to war, let's go to war together,
That,
right?
right?
For each other
Absolutely.
and with each other, right?
Yeah.
Um, so that, and that's what I'm looking for. Don't know where I'm going to find it. Probably on an airplane with all my travels, but
Yes.
I'm
Exactly.
very like intentional that like, I'm 63 years old now, so I'm getting into the 60s. And so part of me is like, oh, we're getting old. How are we going to find anybody? You know? But
Nah.
that's just a story in my head. I got to change
That's
that
just a
story, right? It's
story.
because even I do that, right? And then I got to go, oh, that's a dumb story.
Hmm.
I remember at one time I used to say this is a man's world. And someone
Hmm.
goes, excuse me? And I'm like, yeah, that's my story.
Yeah.
Like it's a man and woman's world. Like,
A-
why do I say
Amen to
that?
that,
And then I
right?
box myself in, right? So I used to
Yeah.
say that, right?
Yeah.
So I allow people to call me on the carpet all the time from what comes out of my mouth.
Beautiful.
Like, please do.
Yeah, and I think as all of this is really, really important. I was just trying to think like, how do I let my husband take care of me? And I, especially as a hyper independent person, I've been like for me, financial security is not that it's not important because I'm like you, like I want to meet someone. I'm looking
Right.
for like a match. But if like traditionally he's used to just paying all the bills and I can actually pay the bills myself, ways in which I look forward to someone taking care of me is like I'm giving a talk next week. I'm giving a lecture, and he's going to show up, right? And actually, that feels really. I do see seen. I do feel seen, validated, supported. Dot dot dot. So yeah, dating is tough. I think for everybody.
Yeah.
Dating in later years is certainly difficult as well. However, um, the cool part about I think doing stuff that's new in later life, is you have more tools. So like
Oh yeah,
I'm
for sure.
I'm an older mom. I'm in my 40s, and I just had a baby, and I keep thinking to myself like for everything that makes this harder, there's a pro, right? Like I'm more financially stable. I know what I want more. So I would say the same to you, right? Like probably in your 60s, you're like, listen, this is what I'm absolutely not going to put up with anymore, right? Like, nope, I don't want a narcissist. I don't want this. You kind of are
Yeah,
aware of more red flags.
I'm aware of what I'm willing to put up with. That's definitely true. I'm not willing to put up with, I just had somebody who actually rented a room for me for a couple months, and I put up with that, right, for a while, and it wasn't the best roommate. And when I came back from California the day of, I said, you need to get out tonight by 6.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm okay with that. Like, you just need to be out by 6. I got home at 7:30. I'm like, you need to be out by 6.
Yeah.
Right. So, and he was out by 6. And he goes, do you want to talk about it? I'm like, I don't have anything to talk to you about. I need you to be out by 6.
Right.
Right. So, um, and I wasn't apologetic. I was unapologetic about it. Right. And I was very aligned with what I knew was right. And I just went for it. And I had compassion for the man, but
Yeah.
like, I didn't have, you just, I got to do me and you got to go do you and
Yep.
leave.
Exactly.
So I think that I have a lot of room to love. I mean, I come from a loving standpoint to love people.
Yeah.
And I'm learning that people are just, I'm not walking in their shoes. I don't know their journey from childhood. See, when you get the childhood past constraints and all that stuff that happens that we don't, people bring that forward. And when you really get that, right, then you
Yeah.
can allow people to be who they are and not react to it. I'm not triggered by
Yeah.
things that happen to different people, or if they get me upset, I'm like, that's okay. You can be upset. I mean, or you can say what you want. I'm
Yeah.
not triggered with it. And the cool thing is that gentleman that I just stopped working for about 18 months ago, I practiced that because it was one situation where I was so stuck that I really didn't know which way to go. I've never been so stuck ever in my life. I ended up crying, going to my hotel room and isolating myself for a day at a conference because of it. And my assistant who was with me said, I've never seen you at a point where you've never been able to figure it out. And I'm like,
Hmm.
I don't even know what to do at this point. I don't know which
Hmm.
way to move. I don't know what's right, what's not right. I just don't know. So, and it was the best pause I ever took because I got really grounded and I ended up quitting. And it was literally a 3-minute conversation. And you said some horrible things to me. First, it started out nice and then it turned out really ugly. And I just said, okay. He goes, did you hear me? And I'm like, I heard you just fine.
Hmm.
Thank you very much. And good luck to you. And I walked out the
Yep.
door. And I never had any kind of emotion around it. It was just like, I just allowed him to be him, which I always had. But because he wasn't doing right by me, or so I thought he wasn't doing right by me, and he wasn't, I took that really personally. But I
Yeah.
finally made a decision and I left and I was very unemotional about it, right?
Yeah.
And so now I just come from that's just a hurt person.
Yeah.
And I'm not
Yes.
willing to have him accumulate hurts on me anymore.
Oh, that's so good.
Right.
Right?
And so that is what made me free.
Yeah.
I can just love him for the human being he is, not his
Yeah.
behavior,
Yeah.
and I can leave
Yeah.
and then take care of myself.
Yeah, Mel Robbins just came out with a book not that long ago, which all my clients keep referencing, called The Let Them Theory. But that's basically her, spoiler alert, guys, that's basically her take on it. It's like, let them be the hurt person,
Yeah.
right? Let
Yeah.
them not know how to treat someone compassionately, but let me make a decision that honors my own core
Yeah.
values. And a lot of the
Yeah.
time, that's like, you know what, I'm not going to let this person
Right. Right.
accumulate further hurt on me. I actually have the
Yeah.
liberty and the I can walk away, right? And I think
Yeah.
we forget that sometimes, that like
Yeah.
so often clients say they're stuck, and I always say stuck is a mindset, it's not a thing, right? Like
That's right.
I
That's right.
don't I don't care where
And
you
so
come
I would
from.
say, I mean, I do have her book and I like her book, but I would also say, just love them. Just
Hmm.
come from a loving standpoint but you don't have to take anything on. And that's what I did with this gentleman. I just loved him. I let him say his piece from wherever he was coming from. And then I just left. And it was freedom. It was free for me. And it started a whole different journey for me as well.
Yeah.
Right. To
Yeah.
actually see people in a different light. And I had been practicing that. So when you talk about my pause theory, that's how that all came out. I had been pausing, and I didn't know what I was doing. And then I'm like, wait a minute, let me just write down the steps that I've been doing for the last 10 years. And then that's literally how it happened. And now I just teach other people that theory. I mean,
All right.
it's not a theory, it's a method.
Okay, what's the method? Give me the
the method. Okay,
yeah, give me the
so
version.
the first part is awareness, which we've been talking about, right? Awareness of your patterns, right? And so it's identifying the subconscious belief, right? The default reaction that we all have, that's shaping your current experience. So remember, we were talking about the constraints from the past, bringing them forward, and it shapes our current experience, right? So if you can understand and come to an awareness of that pattern recognition, then you can actually change your story, change your life, right?
Beautiful.
So the question is, what story am I telling myself right now? And is it rooted in truth or past conditioning? That's the question.
Powerful.
And so that awareness is the first step, as you know. The next step actually is acknowledge, and I made an acronym out of pause, so that's why. The next one is acknowledge and acceptance, right? Fully accepting what is. So a circumstance happens, like we're fully accepting what happened in the past, right? And we're not condoning bad behavior. I had bad things happen to me when I was younger outside of my family. And I'm not condoning, it was a horrible experience, but it's in the past, it's not today. And really just without resistance or judgment, to really just acceptance and resignation is a key just to shifting your perspective. So a lot of the times I have people do a timeline, right? Just write down everything very colorful, put on some Disney music, make it childlike, and just remember everything you can from the time you were 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever. I don't remember anything till I'm like, I think 6 years old. And then I lost everything after 11 for a little while. And so I say, use color markers, like just make it fun, right? And I really don't want any judgment, any opinions on it. I just want you to look at it and just notice, like what's the pattern, right? So really looking at that. My pattern was every 7 years something happened. I felt loved and then I didn't. I felt I mattered and then I didn't. I felt less than, so that was my pattern. So I had to look at that. And then really to untangle and understand what it is. So you have to do it. And some people aren't ready for that timeline, right? That I coach. So we hang out here for a lot. And then when they're ready, it's time to like, okay, now I'm going to give you a challenge, right? Some people like won't do it right away. All right. So I don't give homework. I give challenges in my coaching, right? And then we figure out why or why not. It's just an awareness, not good, bad, or indifferent. What did you get out of it? Or why didn't you do it? Okay. Well, let's try again next week. Right. But to untangle and understand it, right? Separating fact from fiction, fact from fiction, right? What is this belief? What if this belief isn't true? Right. Now, some things from behind work for us. They're in alignment of where we're going, right? And so there are some things you want to hang on to. My dad gave me amazing ethics and morals for work. Amazing. He had a high-powered position in San Francisco, and I got a lot from him. I used to go to his office, and he had Tootsie Rolls in his desk. I had Tootsie Rolls in my desk when I had a big office, right? I mean, it's just, one of those things I adopted. That worked for me, right? So I kept it going. But also and I said this before, what is the situation trying to teach me? Another question, right? Okay. And then after that, after we get through that, we actually get to shift it and reframe the story we've been telling ourselves, because now you understand that it's not a truth. It's just something that happened, right? And so if we look at who you are today, right, and reframe the old belief into an empowering truth that is really true, right? Like I am loved, I do matter, I'm making impact, right? People do see me when I'm out and about, and they hear me and I'm helping them because they're hearing what I'm saying.
Beautiful.
But if we're already free, already whole, and already worthy, how would you show up?
Ooh.
If those things, right, weren't true, how would you show up? Right? And so you get to actually redesign the next chapter. So that's what part of what it's about, is redesigning the next chapter in this truth. Like, what is it you want? How do you want to show up? How do you want to live the next chapter? And we don't take like long periods of time. I take like 6 months, 3 to 6 months. Like, let's just take it in chunks, right?
Yeah.
Because way out there is a lot, right? Now, eventually we can do a 5-year plan or a 10-year plan, but for right now, let's just like take a baby step, right? Because it's a lot. It's a lot. And then we get to rewrite it. We get to pivot into the new possibilities without
Okay.
fear.
Okay.
Okay. And the rest of it is just expanding and practicing.
Ooh. I like the word expanding too.
So just like an
Beautiful.
alcoholic that goes to alcoholic rehab or something, that's the start. But the
Okay.
practice is really when they come out.
So good.
Right. So that's the pause method.
That's beautiful. You and I have a lot of there's a lot of overlap in the way that I work as well. But I'm always a sucker for a good
But I'm not
afternoon.
a therapist.
But I
But I've had
mean,
a lot of therapy.
right? I mean, but like that's the beautiful part of
I love it though.
where, we're moving into the coaching world. I stand strong in my conviction that if you are dealing with like a very clinical mental diagnosis, like please see a therapist and not a coach.
Yes.
There is
Yes.
healthcare concerns, and I do have 2 degrees and 4,500 hours of supervision under my
Yes.
belt. With that said, when we're talking about, you know, life philosophy, how to make decisions, right? Those clarifying questions, which really, really are the root of that reflection, right? Like, but what if you could have it all? How are you getting your own way? Like, really, I think finding support is more important than like making sure that person is
Yeah.
a licensed therapist. I have a therapist, I have a couples therapist, I also have 3 coaches,
Yeah,
right?
I have
So,
2 coaches and I've had 3 therapists, and I believe in therapy
yeah,
110%. So yeah, so there are times that you need a therapist. You really need
yeah,
to dive in and do
totally.
that work, right? And
Yeah,
there's people that I have coached in the past that we coach them to a certain point, and their biggest breakthrough is to go get a therapy appointment.
yeah, totally.
Like seriously,
Right.
because that's like, because
That's
for
it.
me, just as a, disclaimer, this is just my life, like what I've been through, right?
Hmm.
How I've unraveled stuff, and to be able to help other people. But by no means am I any credentials for that, right? I only have credentials by going through it and being
Yeah.
certified to do this work, right? So, but yeah, but there is definitely a need for your practice, right? For
Well,
sure, for
thank you.
sure.
And I appreciate that. But, I think sharing lived experience is part of the reason I have this podcast to begin with. I do think
Mm.
that when we, hear each other's stories, it helps us like shorten the learning curve, right? Like, oh my God, Karen did it. Maybe I could do it too, right? She found the power to look at her childhood wounds. She found the power to reinvent herself. She found the power to go back out into the dating world. And I do think that that helps us inspire each other, right?
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
yeah.
110%. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I would just tell women just take yourself on.
Yeah, that's like
Just
a,
take yourself on. Like invest enough and love yourself enough that you just do it for you.
yeah, that's it. That's it. That's like the
Yeah.
root to me of like female empowerment. It's take yourself on, right? Like figure it out. Do make the choices
Yeah.
that align to your individual core values, your individual legacy. Like, I get cheesy there, but I believe all
And
that
don't be
stuff.
scared of the journey. The journey is actually it's really liberating. It's really
Yes.
free. It's really a lot of
Yeah,
freedom to go
absolutely.
through that journey. And don't do it alone.
Don't do it alone. So with that, it's a perfect segue. If someone's like, OMG, I need to talk to Karen right this very second, how can they find you? What do you offer? How do you support these women?
So they can find me on Instagram, just Karen Bartholomew, Facebook, Karen Bartholomew.
Yep.
My website's karenbartholomew.com.
Right?
It's
Keeping it
really
simple,
easy for
keeping it
people to
simple.
find me, right? But on my website, basically you can get a clarity call with me for like 15 minutes just to see, if you want coaching. I
Mhm.
also have a retreat coming up June 25th, 26th through
Yes.
the 29th in Sonoma, California. It's a safe
Nice.
space for 15 women only.
Wow, beautiful.
Yeah, we're having a happy hour. The next day is all mindset, some breath work, and then we're
Ah,
gonna actually
gorge.
do some on real coaching on
Yeah,
Sunday.
gorgeous.
Yeah, to help some women break free from the things that they learned, and after they've gone through all this experience. I also have a 12-week program for
Okay,
women that they really immerse themselves and get some real stuff done, right? Some things
beautiful.
that they want to redesign and take some baby steps and get there. So there's all kinds of ways. So I would just go to my website and look at it.
Beautiful. Perf.
There's all kinds of information there. There's some freebies in there. There's a journal in there you can get.
Gorgeous.
Um, yeah, and I'm always
Ah,
putting new stuff on there. So
yes. I just love talking to women, helping other women. It makes my heart happy. Okay, I'm gonna drop all of those. I mean, Karen Bartholomew is pretty easy to spell, but nonetheless, if you're like, I'm driving and I can't retain that, don't worry. It's in the show notes. You can reference it here. June 26th is my birthday, so always a great date for
Happy birthday.
for self-reflection. Yes. Karen, thank you so much for sharing your story. I appreciate your vulnerability. I appreciate the work that you're doing for other women. And listeners, please go find her because she has a lot of wisdom to offer you.
Thank you so much. I'm honored to have been here.
Yes. And listeners, if you like this episode, make sure I have to promise that I'm going to say this. My editor is like, please, for the love of God, say this crap. No, it's not crap. It's really important. Please, if you like this episode, this is how we keep the show alive. If you could go on Apple, to Spotify, all the places you find your pods, and rate, review, subscribe, all the things, I would be very endlessly appreciative of all of you. Beautiful listeners, until next time, thank you. If you like this episode, make sure to follow, rate, and review so we can keep this magic coming at ya. As always, beautiful humans, thanks for listening.